Hey, how you doing? This is my submission for the Worldwide Accent Project on YouTube. This is my submission from someone growing up in the central and north central part of Connecticut, state in the United States. And I've actually done some videos before about about Connecticut uh, accent from where I'm from, Connecticut, the state, and with the idea that a lot of people kind of balk at the idea that there's Connecticut accent. Um, they're just not familiar with it. Um, However, my videos that are on the Connecticut accent, you can see people, the discovery of who clicked on that video, what they were searching for, and there's thousands of searches for the phrase Connecticut accent coming up on Google. So obviously that's an idea in some people's minds that they're looking for. So some notion there's a Connecticut accent. So of course, anywhere you're from, any region is going to have some kind of accent. I don't buy the idea of some people try to say that, oh, well, New York is near Connecticut, Boston is near Connecticut on the other side, and it's your accent is going to be either one of those cities' accents. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Um, and with that in mind, the idea that some people won't even conceive of an accent particular to Connecticut, I'll go one step further and distinguish within the state many accents. I kind of chuckled, but almost offended by the director of this project saying in the video when commenting on the United States, saying like, "Oh, maybe even within states over there in the U.S. you got different accents." I don't know why I would question that. If the assumption is that in the UK it's a small area, but you got all these little accents over a small area, why can't there be the same in the U.S.? Why wouldn't you just assume that that would be the case to some extent? So the deal with Connecticut is that number one, people don't even think that that state had a particular accent, but I'm saying that there's several, and maybe even regionally based within Connecticut, and it's one of the smallest states in the U.S. It's like the second smallest state there is. Um, Anyways, and so in the way I see it, in terms of the breakdowns of the regions, if people don't know Connecticut, it's there's basically 6, maybe 7 main regions. You got sort of a western half, you got an eastern half, and you got the central corridor. And for the western half, you can split that north-south, eastern half north-south, and then the central part north-south. The western northern part, that's more kind of allied to the upstate New York and going towards the northern cities area. The western southwestern part, that's of course bordering closer to New York City. And so a lot of people expect to find that kind of accent there. A lot of people have moved out of there, of New York City and stuff like that. And then if we go jump over the eastern side, southern part of that, it's the kind of the shore accent that's closer to Rhode Island. So you would expect to find that close to the Rhode Island accent. The eastern northern side, that's when you're closest to Boston area and the eastern part of Mass. So you're expecting a little bit more of those kind of that classic New England accent, eastern New England accent. And then, but the central corridor, it's not bordering these other states. It's equidistant from New York and Boston, and I'm sure it's got quite a distinct accent that has its own distinct qualities to it. And the southern part of that is kind of the New Haven area, and where I'm from is the northern part of that central corridor along the Connecticut River Valley. I was born in Hartford and grew up in all towns in Hartford County. And the extreme northern part of that central, that's closer to what you call Western Mass, which is a distinct accent from the Eastern Mass, the Boston accent. Western Mass is like Springfield, Worcester, and stuff like that. But I'm from more the central part of the state and Hartford area. So, anyways, That's my kind of idea, introduction to the region, so you get some idea of the kind of diversity that's there. The other issue, of course, is the your age, and then your ethnicity and your social class affects your accent a lot, and that's where you find a lot of variety. I had a video up before about Connecticut accent, and you got all kinds of people commenting, like teenagers. No, I don't sound like that. I don't talk like that. TikTok, I don't talk like that. But it's how are you going to sound like me if you're 15 years old and you've been watching Disney Channel with little Pip riding her horse in Monterey, California on it all day, and you live out in the suburb and your contact with the world is the Disney Channel. That you're going to reflect that kind of accent a little bit more. Of course, you're not going to sound like me, someone in their mid-30s, someone who just spent a little more time talking with like people on the street and whatnot, from different class background, maybe from more of a lower middle class, working class kind of background, and from a family that's not highly educated per se, and then there's ethnic background, of course. And I know when they do accent surveys, usually in places like the U.S., specifically the U.S., they tend to leave out the African American speech from these regional surveys, because the logic being that there's some similarities all over the country, maybe even between the way African Americans speak, due to historical issues, some of them that should be pretty obvious, just past segregation, things like that, cultural segregation, that sort of thing. And so they kind of go on like white people's accents in the different regions. But to my mind, if you're expecting one ethnicity, black people, to have their distinct accent, which is different than others from the region, shouldn't that go for other people of other ethnicities that may fall under the racial category of white, but certainly have their own accent? So I've had people comment on my videos like, oh, we don't talk like that way. The only people who talk that way are the Italians in our area, or something like that, So I think that your ethnic background has some degree of influence, and importance is kind of hard to say. Like, you get two people from the same area, they're both natives there, but just their family background, even if it's not a foreign language, a native English speakers, but it's a little bit different. So I like to include this information of my age, social class, background. So age, mid-30s, social class, like I said, I guess a lower middle class, working class kind of thing. Ethnicity, if we just say grandparents, 2 Irish, 1 German, 1 Sicilian. So, and then I got people going back and further, and Polish and French Canadians and English and stuff like that. The town I grew up in, half of my schooling was a town that was majority black. Then the other half of my schooling was in a town majority white. And I guess that's a lot more background than you even wanted. So here goes. This is my speech reading the example for the Worldwide Accent Project, and the passage is as follows. See above those clouds near where the blue sky appears to fold? Some say it is the entrance to the floating isles where pirates still rule the air and dragons choose to live. Only the most skilled pilots can sail their craft close enough to even glimpse the light coming from within. You can't find those who know the way, they find you. Rather, you 4 lazy tourists must learn from your books and be ready, so that you may not miss an opportunity to travel to that mysterious place. It would be an adventure that you would never forget. Now, I think that's enough with this pleasurable storytelling. Go home and join your aunt. She's cooking fine food. Take it easy.